What's up everyone, my name is Luis from Zoey's Fresh Flowers. I'm going to introduce the company, a little bit about what we do, and I'm going to show you some of our product as well that we just got 30 minutes ago here at the house. Zoey's Fresh Flowers is a direct-to-consumer company, farm-to-consumer. We work with strategic farms, with our partners. One of the farms is ours, others are from friends or colleagues that we've known for a very long time. So overall, I'm going to do a little unboxing of our product, show you a little bit of how to do it, how to get it done, the simplest way to do it, and what not to do. First of all, you're going to need bases. I have three here. We have three products. These are about 13.5 inches in width. That's the one we've been using here for the past few tests, and it seems to do the trick for most of the arrangements. We're going to need scissors, flower scissors, not this scissors I have in my hand. Got them all from Amazon for like $15. They are the worst choice you could ever do. They're too soft here in the grip, and when you're cutting, it's just going to slow you down, and the quality of the blade is terrible. Our personal recommendation, which is what we use at the farm, is this little red scissor. It's a Falco number 2. It is what our cutters use every single day. It's an industrial quality scissor. It will make your life much easier, much faster to do and go through the arrangements. You're going to need some water as well for the bases, about 2 liters. So about a little pitcher like this. And that should be enough for about 2 arrangements. Something to mix it with. I like to use a common knife. And depending on your base, you might need something to peel the arrangement. It's peeled at about 60%, so that should do a trick for most bases. But just in case you need it, this is the safest way to do it, not just to take the leaves, but also to take any thorns that might be left. This actually, we got it from the farm. We designed it ourselves to make it easier in our post-harvest to do the work for you guys. Here I have 2 boxes. This is our new box. It will not be white. It will say Zoey's Fresh Flowers all over it. And this is the box we will be shipping you starting at the beginning of next year. And I have another 2 little boxes, this ones, that have the name of the farm. As you can see, clearly identify who it was, who sent it, who they are. Even their contact information is in it. We're not afraid to hide who we buy from or where we send the product from. This case, this is the farm I've been working with, and the family has been working with for about 25 years. And this is the box we were initially sending, we were thinking about working with, but we decided to rearrange it a little bit so the product arrives in better shape to you, the consumer. The boxes are shipped through UPS. They arrive to your door about 4-5 days from the moment you order. So if you order before noon Eastern any other days, it'll ship 4 to 5 days depending on when you ship it, except Saturdays. So we're going to cut it up, we're going to open it. I'm going to move this stuff a little bit. Sorry I'm just shaking out the camera. So first of all, you cut it. It's going to have several seals, 2 on the sides, 1 on the bottom with some tape. Make sure you cut both sides of it. Then you should be able to pop the box really easily. If you did it correctly, like I just did it. So you got the box. Depending on the arrangement you order, is either going to be 1, 2, or even 3 seals inside. As you can see, they're perfectly sealed, so you could do that and nothing will fall off. You cut those as well. So once you cut it up, you take the little cardboard that's used for protection, and you get to take the product out. In this case, we have some 60cm ruskins. Some spray roses for the arrangement. This case is Charming Bubbles, is red spray rose. We also have some Freedom, a beautiful, beautiful red rose. Very traditional red rose in this situation. Apparently they didn't cut the seal well the first time. We have some white stock, some baby blue eucalyptus. I was a little bit shorter just because it makes more sense with the arrangement. Some white bubbles, some beautiful spray roses. You get 2 packs of floral food. We got 3 in this case. And you have another 6 stems, I believe, of Cupid, a beautiful pure white rose. That will look fantastic in this arrangement. So you put just all the trash in the box. The only thing that's not recyclable is the red tape that comes on it, the one we cut at the beginning. Everything else is fully recyclable. So you take these little bands off. Oops. Here you go, you take the plastic off. Is the most biodegradable one we could find. Actually no, this one is not biodegradable. I apologize for that. This is the least environmentally damaging we could find. This is just common newspaper. Well, without the newspaper in it. Just paper, you could just throw it in and recycle it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clear out everything we have from its packaging. We're going to put it all together in a box, in the table. Or, depending on your strength and your personal preference, I personally like cutting them right as they're packed. You can see perfectly even. You get the scissor. Difference with the other one is you can't really do this all at once. Usually with this one, there's about 12 stems if I'm not mistaken. You could just do it in 2 cuts or in 1 cut depending on the grip. I did it here in 3 cuts. Perfectly easy. The hand doesn't hurt at all. I'm going to put this here. And we're going to do it again with this other pack. Just going to do it all at once. And you could cut it about this much, 5-10 centimeters, depending on what works for you for your arrangement. We like to cut it like this. Perfectly straight is fine. There's zero benefit in cutting it at an angle. It doesn't work. It doesn't make a difference, especially because you have floral food. So cutting it at an angle as it does here, or some people cut it a little bit more at an angle, really doesn't make a difference. It won't clog, it will not hydrate better, it will not do any of that because the product is fresh. Today is a Friday. This product was shipped because yesterday was Thanksgiving. It was shipped on a Monday. Took a little bit longer. It arrived just now. It usually would arrive on a Thursday, sometimes on a Friday. But this product took about the right time, a little bit longer because they didn't deliver yesterday. So the product is fresh. I could tell you just by looking at the barcode here that this was cut on Saturday. Farms usually don't send same day cuts because they can't hydrate them. Average for a farm is to hold it in cold storage, of course, for about 3 to 4 days maximum, depending on the trip the product is going to take. In this case, it managed to stay Saturday. It was cut, hydrated. Sunday and Monday it was shipped. And let me check this one. This was cut on Friday, so about a week ago. It's very fresh. If you compare that to your local wholesaler or florist, more specifically, most likely your product is about 10, 12, 15 days old. What I mean 15 days old is since the day it was cut to when it's being sold. I've seen some occasions where the product is considerably older. Product could be up to 20 days. And yes, roses could last that long, only if they're properly taken care of in cold storage. But the quality of it will be seen once it arrives to your house. it will not perform as good. It will not perform as well as it usually would. Now we're gonna cut the spray roses as well. The eucalyptus and the stock that we got, same size, straight cut. This is some beautiful stock that we have, pure white stock. Again, straight line. You take the packaging off. And it's normal. A head or two will fall, just like you saw here. It is a living product. It will smash. It will break eventually. Small heads, and that's usually going to be in the smaller products like stalks, like spray roses. It might happen occasionally on a rose, and there's nothing that can be done about it because third party ships it. If you do have that problem, do let us know. We always like to follow up and try to improve our packaging processes. We consistently try and retry different things. And these are our spray roses. I'm going to leave this for the end, just because it's a supplementary product and it's easier to deal with it at the very end. So the ruscus and the faded milk, I'm just going to take it out of its packaging, just to be able to cut it the moment I'm going to use it. Doesn't really make a difference. That is just a personal preference. So we clear everything out. Product is already cut, and I was talking a lot, so it took me longer than it usually does. We'll be uploading some other video where I'm not talking, where I'm just doing it. So you can see it really doesn't take you more than 10 minutes if you're a little bit more experienced. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm right here. It smells like beautiful flowers. So we're gonna take our base, and we're gonna take our flower food. Just rip it open wherever the cut is. Or you prefer, and you can't cut it like me right now, you could just cut it with a scissor. You throw the whole thing in there. And what is the point of the flower food? The point of the flower food is to balance in part the pH of the water that you have, to allow it to hydrate better, so plants hydrate better. We don't know the quality of the water you have. Different areas of the country have different qualities. So in the farm, we know the quality, we measure the pH, we measure the hardiness of the water. We know exactly, and we don't use this at the farm. We use it only for export in a liquid form to hydrate better, because we know product could be shipping up to 15 days to the farther parts of the world. And the previous times I mentioned, to the US. So, just put the powder in there, and you get the water. Put half of this pitcher in there. You can put a little bit more depending on the arrangement you're doing. So I put a little bit more, just because I'm seeing the size of the product. It's going to look a little bit foamy. As with this beautiful knife comes in, you just stir it. You make sure there's no powder left over. And voila, it's done. Put the knife back where you found it, and you have your base ready to put the flowers. I'm going to put it here so you could see it. As I mentioned before, the product is already cleared up to 60%. That one makes it easier just to put in. You could see, you could just put it in, and that way you don't have to clean it. Perhaps this stock, just because of how we're going to use it, we could take a leaf or two off, just because of where we're going to use them. We don't want it tangled. We don't want it the leaves falling in the water, because that will make it a little bit, the worst. It's going to rot. It's going to smell, and the roses might actually get clogged with some debris and their pores, so it will not take water as much as it should. We're going to check the product, make sure there's no bad petals. Usually the guard petal, this petal right out here, it comes like this naturally. It's a little bit uglier. It's a little bit rougher to the touch. If you touch it comparing to others, it's not as soft. That is a natural thing. That is the petal that comes out as soon as the product starts growing, the rose, the bud starts growing. And it's up to preference. I personally don't like to take it off until usually the first or second time I change the water, just because it's easier to manipulate. I don't do this. You could touch gently to see if it's soft, to see if it's hard, but honestly, it doesn't make a difference. It's a varietal thing. Some varieties, for example, our Tivet here, you touch them and they're hard because they're not empty rose. Other varieties, in this case the Freedom, is a little bit softer than the Tivet just because it's a different variety, and it's not a fact that a hard rose is a fresh rose by any means. It just means it has more petals, or maybe the shape, the way they're growing, the inside, the inner structure of it is just different. Also, openness doesn't mean if it's more open, it's old. That is a myth. The way we ship the flowers, you don't have to do anything to them. You could see it. It's not the tightest cut. It's not the most open cut. Don't manipulate it. Don't try to open it. You're just going to damage the product. You're going to make it last less, and it's just going to affect the quality of what you get to see. If you have a special event or something like that, just make sure it arrives 2-3 days before, so the roses open naturally. I know some people like to blow on them, put their finger inside, move them a little bit. That just damages it. You know, if you're in a pinch and if you have an event and you forgot to order the roses on time, sure, go ahead do it. But if it's for your house, if it's for your enjoyment, please don't. It really just damages the quality, and it's heartbreaking as a grower to see when that happens. So we're going to arrange it. Any type of arrangement in this case works, whatever you want for your house. I like to start with a product that we have the most of. So in this case, it's this red, it's Freedom. You're going to see that some are a little bit taller than others. That is normal because of the way we packaged it and because of the way we know you do the arrangements at home. I tend to leave the longer ones until the end, but you know, whenever I just put them in, you could manipulate them a little bit and move them. For example, these are the longer ones. Just put them there. You'll be able to work with them a little bit later, because those are the ones that you usually want in the top of the arrangement. And you just stick them in this first stage. I like to call them beautiful imperfections. There are imperfections in the roses. That is normal. It is a living product. It will happen. It is touched by way too many people before it arrives to you. An estimated 8 to 10 people actually manipulate the product since the moment it's cut until the moment you receive it, including your UPS delivery driver, the cargo agency people, the people at the farm. They touch it, they manipulate it, and no rose is perfect. So it will have perhaps a little brown edge, not even brown edge, but just a little imperfection here you could see. It's a beautiful imperfection. It's part of it. It tells a story to its own way, and I don't know, it adds something to it, in my personal opinion. Just makes it more beautiful. You could see, and I'll show it to you right here, they do have different cut stages. You're going to be wondering why. A Tivet is a variety that opens up a little bit faster than a Freedom, or that might be the case for other varieties as well. So the farm likes to cut them in openness stage. That means that each variety, because it's different, will open in a different way. And it will perform in a different way. The idea in the farm is to make sure that when you receive the product and you put it in a vase, they will open roughly at the same time. That is the idea, that is the theory, and that is what we strive for, and it tends to work. Depending on the season, we as a farm might have to adjust a little bit the cut stage, depending on where you live. You know, if it's a place like Texas, it's quite hot there. It has to be a little bit tighter just because heat will open the roses, and that is an important thing to keep in mind. at home, especially during winter, when you have your heating turned on like we do here in Washington State, heat will damage and will make the roses live less, live shorter lives. So please do not put the flowers next to a vent. Do not put them in the kitchen preferably. Try not to put them right under the sunlight. Try to find a place where it gets a little bit of shade. It still has to get sunlight if you like, so it opens faster. But avoid direct contact. So here a little bit, what I like to do is mix them a little bit. Make sure there's a little bit of red. Make sure there's a little bit of white in between, as this is a red heavy arrangement. Make sure you have a little bit of diversity everywhere where you have it. And you know, there's not enough white roses, that's a fact. But we will compensate that with the white spray roses and the stalk. And this red that is not as intense as you could see. Some would say it's even a little bit orange, but it's a good contrast for the arrangement. We are going to start putting in the spray roses. I like to put the spray roses on the sides. They're a great filler. And at this point, I already start mixing them with the white at the same time. Put one white, put one red, just to make sure it's full of color, to make sure the right combination is there. So you just arrange them. You always grab them by the stem. So here, usually this is a good spot to grab them. And you start pushing them in. You might find some resistance because the other stems are already in there. Don't be afraid to push a little bit hard. They will not break. They're heavy, they're thick, and they're made for that. So we continue putting in the sprays, making sure there's a good combination there. There's good variety with colors. There's a good contrast. And we're almost done. We have 2 spray roses left. So we're going to wrap it up this way. And we're going to put the final spray rose in. So as you can see, the arrangement would look this way. Do not do this with a vase unless you really know how well it holds. This is a thick vase, thick glass. Most of them will break. So just be careful with that. And we're going to have to clear the stalk a little bit more so it fits. And we could put some of them in the middle. In this case, I think I'm going to put all of them in the middle. And you'll see why in a second. The stalk is a little bit gentler, the stem. So don't manipulate it as hard as the rose. It will still hold, but it was a little bit more gentle. Try not to touch this upper side, the heads, because they will break very easily. And here you go. We have one final stalk to go. And this is our final arrangement. I'm going to show it to you guys. This is how the product will look as soon as you get it. Again, this is my personal choice of an arrangement. And this is without the greens. I mentioned I left them until the very end. So then, come in, you cut the greens as well. And you add a little bit of color where you might be missing some, or you might be having too much white, too much red. In this case, it's just 4. I like to put 1 here, 1 silver, one baby blue, 1 ruscus, like the cardinal points, 1 on each side. And the greens won't really come into play until the next time you cut it. That's when they really will be seen most. The way this arrangement is structured, because of the base we have, this is a tall base. That's how we personally chose it. We've seen some smaller bases and they work. In this case, I'm realizing that because the greens are having a little bit of a hard time pushing through the other stems, I should add a little bit more water, which is fine. The amount of floral food you put will be enough. So I'm just putting a little bit more water for it to hold. And as I said, the greens won't really come into play until next time you cut them, when they will really shine. But here you go, the arrangement. You can make it however you want. This was my choice. I'm not a designer, been around the industry a while, but you know, it's a beautiful arrangement. It's supposed to be for your house, something you did, something simple, something elegant, and it doesn't have to be a designer piece like a teddy bear or a heart made in laces and roses. So that was it. That's going to be most of it for our first video. Do follow us on Instagram. We're going to be posting some of those videos often. And if you have any questions, reach out to us and check out the interviews with the different farms we have. Have a great day.